Hey guys! Let's talk about the exciting rumors buzzing around about the couples on Exchange 3 or Transit Love 3. People are guessing who will end up together. It's been speculated that Dongjeene and Hyewon and Dongjeene were endgame couples. Even Hyewon was linked as an endgame with Kwangtae's ex, who's said to be a face surgeon, but she's yet to appear on the show. Sounds juicy, right? But remember, Exchange 3 is a dating show where real emotions run deep, so let's not get too carried away with the rumors. While all these speculations are sweet and sound really good, we hope all participants end up with the choices that are best for them in the end. Now, some say Heywon will leave the show single, but I have a feeling things might turn out differently. Per usual, my opinion might change as the show progresses, but for now, let's quickly run through the show together in regards to Hyewon, and Dongjeene. Who will couple Heywon in the end? And will she really go back home alone? The show has been airing for a while now, and relationships are forming. What's clear is that out of all the pairs of exes that came on the show, at least one from each group of partners would like to get back with their ex, but things don't always go as planned. Heywon was the first female to enter the house, and although she had a good banter with Kwangtae, one thing was obvious: when Dongjeene entered, she could hardly breathe. Her awkwardness and nervousness towards Dongjeene at first sight showed she was interested in him. When Heywon stayed in the sitting room alone with Dongjeene, you can tell she liked him from the start. He too was equally nervous and extra awkward with her as well at first sight. But before we dive into their potential, let's talk about Heywon's relationship with her ex Hyewon. He wanted to get back with her, but she wasn't keen. She even cut the symbolic thread that represented if they wanted to get back with their ex or not, before she got inside the house because she wanted to move on from him. But things got emotional in the house, with Heywon making some wise decisions and some not-so-great ones at times. It seemed like she was getting close to Kwangtae in the beginning, which made Hyewon feel insecure. On the first day, after they've all read their ex's introduction letters, Dahae called Kwangtae to prepare a drink for her in the kitchen, and immediately Heywon felt uncomfortable. She later tried to do the same with Kwangtae so they can go to the kitchen together, but Kwangtae told her he'd get it for her instead. She was doing all these while Hyewon was watching. Things got even messier when they exchanged messages. Heywon messaged Kwangtae, and her ex sent her a message saying it was nice to meet her. It's a weird message. Was he trying to say it is nice to meet this new version of her, as he had never seen her being extra friendly with other men? But this first message was enough to start swaying her back to her ex. She said she was going to be a little careful around him so as not to hurt his feelings, but in the kitchen, she was extra friendly with Kwangtae, and her ex could see her smiling so brightly with him. During his interview, he expressed that it was day one and he didn't expect her attitude and that he was a little uncomfortable with it. These events consistently made him feel insecure. And after hearing his voice message from the phone booth the second day, she became a lot more open to the idea of getting back with her ex Hyewon. So when she messaged him for the first time, he was very surprised, but she received no messages. This made her lose confidence and she guessed no one was interested in her. At some point, she made breakfast for herself and Kwangtae. Her ex saw them together again, fueling more fire to his jealousy. After staying together in the house for a while, they both sort of had a change of heart and wanted to be together again. So they started sending each other messages again until the candy episode. Hyewon shared the candy she sent to him in her mystery box, which later led to some major misunderstandings and an eventual breakdown of their relationship. This misunderstanding was later cleared, but the timing of these events is what matters most because Hyewon and Heywon kept missing the timing to connect. Let's talk about what happened between Heywon and Dongjeene. When Heywon got to pick her first date based on the men's memorable pictures, Heywon chose Dongjeene. But things got tricky when they had a chance to ask questions from the exes in the chat rooms. In the chat room, Heywon asked Dongjeen's ex if she would be okay with them being together, and she said she didn't think she would be. Then, Dahae asked Heywon if she was interested in her ex Dongjeene. Heywon was surprised by the question but said she was curious about him and thought he seemed cool. By the end of the chat, Heywon realized that Dongjeen's ex still likes him. This made Heywon worry about hurting her feelings. But for Dongjeene, before their first date, he had a chance to chat privately with Heywon in the kitchen where he told her they were going to the beach. She said she was excited and he said that her reaction got him to be a little more interested in her. But during their ride to the beach, the initial awkwardness was palpable. But then he said to her that she had a very good first impression. He was like,
"You were sitting by the window, soaking up the sunlight. You look so elegant and innocent then because of the vibe you were giving off there. I thought you'll be the youngest or second to the youngest."
The comment from the editor even described Heywon as having a great first impression in Dongjeen's view. Dongjeene also described her as having a golden girl vibe. When they got to the beach, he felt a little down because of the memories he shared with his ex in the same place, but Heywon tried to accommodate him. They joked around about the seagulls being their audience. Then, he stepped back a bit and took a picture of Heywon. This was a really sweet move and they seemed to get a bit closer as they took the same type of selfies that he took with his ex in the same spot. It was touching, but also a bit sad to see. This show is not for the faint at heart. You really need to be emotionally strong to stay committed to this show. Dahae told Heywon not to allow him to eat grilled clams since he didn't like it, but Dongjeene surprised her by ordering grilled clams, just because he thought she liked it. He's a real gentleman. But oops, he forgot his wallet, so Heywon had to pay. Later, he won her a teddy rabbit at the second date spot, but she ended up paying again. Heywon showed a lot of patience and kindness. "This is the first time I'll see a lady placed in this situation on any dating show," and she didn't feel irritated. Heywon is a very patient and accommodating person and it seems she and Dongjeene have the same demeanor. She is also very intelligent as all her guesses and assumptions were mostly right. She figured Dahae was Dongjeen's ex by the time their date was over. She was able to conclude Seo-kyung was Juwon's ex. She also figured Seo-kyung was her ex's type from the get-go and she mentioned that repeatedly. Heywon is very intuitive. I feel this realization of who Dongjeen's ex was, is what led to the first collapse of Heywon's interest in him because she didn't want to hurt Dahae who's been very sad since she came into the show. But things took a new turn after her ex disappointed her by sharing the candy she cherished so much with the other housemates. She cried so hard that it got very dramatic. I feel her cry here wasn't just because of the candy. I believe it was a mix of built-up frustrations. She tried to connect with the guys, but it didn't go as planned. The last occupant, Chongjin, didn't pick her as she expected. The guy even mistakenly called her name in place of Dahae's as his first date. Then she didn't get a text from her ex, and when her ex shared her special candy with everyone, it was the final straw, leading to a big uncontrollable cry. Everyone knew she cried that night, including Dongjeene. So, to cheer her up, he invited her to play with the bubbles they got together during their first date. This time, she is more relaxed with Dongjeene since Dahae is also much better now connecting with Chongjin. After this, Dongjeene arranged a pottery date where they added unique decorations to what they made. When Heywon interpreted Dongjeen's decorations as the first day of their relationship, I nearly fell off my chair. I really hope Heywon takes it easy in her relationships. She seems very eager and extremely passionate. This sometimes can make the wrong man take advantage of her love and disrespect her. But this can also work in her favor with Dongjeene since this might be a new experience for him considering what he went through with his ex. Remember when Dongjeene found out that Dahae and Kwangtae went for a run in the morning? He said he felt angry that Kwangtae was able to do in 3 days what he couldn't do for 13 years. Imagine how crazy that sounds. The genuine question I have is that after her group disbanded, how come she couldn't still publicly date him? How come celebrities in Korea cannot date freely? To say this is appalling is an understatement. Anyways, they both had a fun date and they seemed to be getting closer as they both chose each other for Jeju trip. A lot of things can happen that can cause massive effects on Dongjeene during this trip. Personally, I believe Heywon has been into him as soon as she laid eyes on him. What she needed was for him to show a little interest in her so she can go all in for him. I believe she will try her best to win him over in the coming episodes. Unless of course if for some reason, Dongjeene already made up his mind he will get back with his ex, but as it stands now, in my view, Heywon and Dongjeene will be choosing each other in the end. I think they will make a very passionate and great couple, because they are both very sensitive and caring individuals. However, I'm also rooting for Dahae. I will be analyzing her love connections too in my upcoming video. As always, my opinion may change as the show progresses, but this is my take on Heywon's final choice for now, folks. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, hit the like button and subscribe if you want more content like this. Bye.